What's up, traders? Going 3 for 3 today. As always, going to jump right into this. Our first trade was on BEKE, BEKE, and I wasn't a big fan. I did like the extension away from that previous resistance, which was the high from last Friday. But as you can see, it was coming down. And if you look over on the daily and the 60-minute, you can see that it was higher as it was coming down. So to me, this could have been somewhat of like a dead cat bounce after finding support, and would have liked it a lot higher. I actually really wanted it to push up through 22, looking for the move there. But as you could tell, if you go watch the live trades, which will be linked down below in the pinned comment over on Twitch, it didn't want to. So we ended up getting in this, I believe after the initial push, it went back up through 22. And I was really hoping for higher. I think I even had to order out higher, and I ended up dragging it down so that I could get filled because obviously it didn't want to give us that extra push. After we had got in, it really started to kind of sit there. It's a bigger company. We see this all the time where it'll get that big spike, it'll kind of go sideways and then kind of start inching its way higher. So when it finally gave us that break, we actually had to order out like well below here. It was at like 70 something because we were looking for half this move. We realized that we might not get it. So when it finally gave us the move back down towards the 80s, we went ahead and just took it off, and we're happy with the win. We were only half size anyway because it was a bigger company. It was right at the open, so it was playing it on the safe side. Second trade was on FCX. Same kind of deal. I actually like this one a little bit better. It was up towards the all-time highs. It was moving higher based off of Friday's highs, and we got a nice push through those previous highs and through the whole $1.45. And as you can see, we did get that jiggle right before going through that $0.50. I was actually watching this, looking for it to go through the $0.50, but it didn't. So we ended up starting it, looking for that quick drop, about 50% of the move. It's exactly what we got. We actually put our order out at 07, and we got filled at 07. And as you can see on that candle, it went to 04. So perfect placement. Got bought right up off of that 04 and ended up going higher. Did eventually come down later in the day, but not before trying to go higher, and it actually stuck up there for a little bit and tried to go even higher. So would have been a very frustrating trade had I not got that fill. And so I was happy that it did. And our last trade today was on Tesla. This was actually our biggest winner of the day. We actually top ticked it. Again, nice extension away from Friday's highs, up through some pretty key levels. And I always try to look at these as if you were to take off that last zero. So what if this was just $107, $106.50? And so that's kind of how I was playing this in my head. So you look for those key areas based off of that. And technically, you would think if that's the case, this thing would try to go to like 1100, right? That would be that next real key level. But it really did, you could just tell it was getting extended on this candle. The ask was getting hit repeatedly, and it was just not, there was like no selling going on this candle. So the first moment that I felt some selling come in is when we just went ahead and hit the button. We got filled at 1070.48, and the high was 1070.78. So we were 30 cents off the highs of something that has now moved over 30 points back to the downside. But again, you guys know how I trade. I look for 50% of that extension move, which I was going based off of this previous high here. We get a nice extension up through it, looking for half that move, and we get it. It did try to bounce a little bit after we got out on that same candle. Again, if you go watch it live over on Twitch, and it ended up not going back up high. It ended up coming down. That was actually the only one today that did that. So Tesla, as you can see, decided to come back down. The other two, FCX, it actually went higher. And BEKE also, it did pull back, but then it ended up going higher. So like I said, I look for that intense move right off the scanner, and I look for that pullback right after the intense move. After that, I don't care what it does. Sometimes it's going to go higher, sometimes it's going to go back down, sometimes it's going to go sideways. I really don't care because I just look for as close to that 50% move as I can get. And if I do have bigger position, maybe I got to add on in that first part of the move. I'll look to scale out. But in most cases, if I just get that one entry, especially if I'm going half size because it's a bigger company, especially like when it's closer to open as well, I'm not going to look to scale out of those, not until maybe I have much bigger size. But for right now, it's not really an issue. And I've found that holding on to leftovers doesn't really do me well personally because of the way that I play stocks. I'm not really looking to ever let those go higher. And a lot of times you will get those retests of the highs before it ultimately drops. It's a little bit more rare to actually just get that full drop immediately. So it does happen. Obviously, it happened here. But again, if you go back over to FCX, that did not happen. And if you go over to Tesla, this one did try to bounce before making its way down. So don't know, obviously you don't know it. In hindsight, you can say, oh yeah, I would have stayed in this all the way down here till 10:35 or whatever. But everyone likes the hindsight trade. All I got for you today. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Always appreciate that support. If you do have any questions or comments, leave those down below, or you can find me in Discord or on Twitter. And I'll see you all tomorrow. Peace.